all right? That's what that's about. Probably, and to guide you so that when you're going with this wonderful divine light and things aren't going quite so right, to open your eyes to the opportunities that you don't see. That's my job. But that's the one thing I really love the most is learning about the universal and spiritual laws. Because when you understand, when I started studying the universal laws, I started studying that with Bob. But then I fell into the spiritual laws because I'm always looking. I'm always just learning. So I started looking in the spirit. Why were the spiritual laws different? Well, they aren't, but they offer a different way of looking at the same laws that rule the laws of the universe. And these laws of the universe guide every blade of grass, every tree, every deer, everything. And also, they guide the stars. It guides the weather when we don't play with it. It guides the world. And when we learn it and we start working with it, we're more in the divine. It's just one more step to bring you working with the true self, the divine self, than the side that is the critical and the one that's going to keep you spinning and biting your tail. And that's what the Break Free Quantum is. And just so you know the logistics of it, because Henrieta's not here and you haven't talked to her, the Break Free Quantum has with it, it will have a workbook, but I don't hand out the workbook all in one. I've learned. I have learned. So what I do is I hand out that lesson. So you'll get it, like on a Monday, you get the lesson, the video, and the workbook. And then I schedule a one-on-one call with you during the week. It's an 8-week program, okay? And so that is what we do, and we'll get you really going. After that, we'll see, but I'll tell you what, that should get you going. All right? And then for you, my dear, the Break Free program is a little bit different. The Break Free program, you're on that. The Break Free program is actually about getting you to get to that place where you, number one, you find your purpose, but starting to build that purpose. Starting to build the purpose, starting to build the desire. Making it matter more than some of the other stuff in our life. And building the self-esteem to do it, building the self-esteem to feel good, letting go, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, forgiving the situations, but then letting go. And that's why I think it's important for you. It is crucial to build the self-esteem, the purpose, the self-esteem and the purpose in order to gain the objectivity to begin to forgive and let go. No, she hasn't. But Kimberly. Kimberly was in a place that was, you tell them, not me. I don't want to break any. Well, Kimberly was lost. And she was at a very, very tough place, and she was very, very unforgiving. She's got a narcissistic husband that is just really hurting her relationship with her daughter and her older son, and desperately hurting it. And she has, and she was not on a good place. Her whole family history was one of disease and suicide. So she was kind of going back and forth. So what we have done, she was miserable in that house. She has done, this girl, she does not give herself enough credit. Number one, she sold that house by herself. This is a woman who has not done anything for herself, really. Now, all of a sudden, she got that house organized. She got it packed up herself. She got it all set. She sold that house. She moved herself to the place that she's living now. She's looking into different businesses. She's forming different friendships. She's changing the way that she relates to her children. She's trying to build her own life. She keeps getting dragged back in a little bit, but she's trying to make herself happy, build her confidence. That's where we're having the hardest time because she keeps going back into the garbage, but then she keeps coming, she floats. She's going here. But my gosh, where she's come so far, I mean, I would get pretty desperate calls, and now I'm not getting so many desperate calls. She's getting a little more confident. She's getting a little stronger. And so that's what the Break Free does. And so when she gets her business going, when she gets that house to look like the way she wants it, she starts getting those friends and her life starts building. Then she's going to start to see that she has the confidence to start looking back and saying, you know what? I understand how this progressed. I can let it go. Do you see that? That's what Break Free is about. Okay? And that's where I want to see you. Okay? Because you've got a story to tell. August. Now, but you have a story. You have a story that can help women and mothers. You can wake up mothers. You can break this cycle with your story. And so, like I told you when we were talking, healing by helping is one of the best ways to heal. You know? And it sends a positive forward. And so when I said look at Toastmasters to start, I really mean it. And then I want to see us really build that way. All right? Meanwhile, back at the farm, yes, get the test. Do the steps that I told you. And we're going to get that problem taken care of too. But we've got to get that energy that is burning inside your stomach right now. We've got to get it focused and doing good. All right? Yeah. Okay. No, you don't need to kick yourself in the butt. Get that message out, and I'll help you. So these are the 2 programs we have now. And I do expect to see people just growing like crazy. Okay? Because that's why you're here. Now, where's Anrita? With I want to do it. I have a really cool thing for you. All right, I'll waste a little more. Tracy, I hope she's okay. Well, I know, but I need the ropes. All right, look at the thing that you just got. See the mastermind thing I just handed out? Now, this is a covenant. A mastermind is a covenant. Your mastermind is a sacred thing because where 2 or more minds come, God is there guiding. So what you need to do is you alternate I say you read it together, the whole thing. But you read it together on the phone. You really think about the words. And then you turn to one person and you say, and what would you like to say? Okay? And one person starts. And this is how you start the mastermind. And you usually do it this way, if you have more than 2. Now, when I only have 2 people, it gets a little lax. But when we have 5 or 6 in the mastermind, then you have to have some rules because it can get really heavy. And so what we do is we go around and we say, first we state wins, things that we've achieved, and then we go back and we say what we need help with. So everybody gets a voice. And that's how you start the mastermind. I'm going to form those masterminds and get them to you. Okay? You've got a ghost. No. Our room is not big enough. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about a little bit about when we go out there into the world. And we're starting to get good ideas. You all have steps. Am I right? Cool. Now, this is the thing. You're going to go out into the world. You're going to start talking to people. And this is what it's going to be like. The employer goes into Steve Jobs' world. He sees Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs goes, imagine this. Just see it. It's in my hand. I have got this phone. I have got this phone that I can have access to anything in the world. I can see movies. I can dial. I can text. You know what texting is? It's actually where I can just type in something when I'm too busy and it goes to that person immediately. I can get on anything I want. I can play music. Do you see what I'm saying? People used to come out of Steve Jobs' office saying, oh my God, I just went into his world. He's up here, everybody else is down here. Edison did 150 experiments. And he said, I had to do it 150 discoveries before I got what I wanted. He never said failures. You know? And you get that visualization so crisp in your mind by doing it in the morning and at night. You're like the Wright brothers. You remember the plane? And it gets that you're even dreaming it. And I remember, well, I don't remember, I wasn't born there. But I read a story that when the plane started to go up and then faltered, the one brother said, don't worry, brother. I saw it in a dream. It's going to happen. The innovators, the scientists, the poets. Look at Michelangelo. Where did he get that information? Yeah, he opened up. He was way ahead of his time. Don't discount the power that you have in you. Don't always look outside for the answers. The more you can open yourself to the imagination, the intuition, the more you can open yourself to just feeling it. Who was I telling? Oh, I was telling you to do that writing. You can do that type of writing for anything. Remember I was telling Jan to do the writing to get the emotion out? Well, my gosh, I once wrote this, oh, yay. I once wrote this letter. I was telling Michael, I once went to the seminar that didn't exist. I was too early, and I ended up in this little Florida island town, and I stayed there. And at that time, I was frustrated. I had this frustration, and sometimes I don't always know why, but it's my intuition saying, you're frustrated, something's not going right. And I couldn't figure out why, so I sat down in the bed. I decided to stay, first of all. I decided to stay and figure this out. So I sat down in my bed, and I started doing this writing. And like I told you, I just was writing, at first it's all conscious. But then it took off. I wrote 6 pages of this stuff, all right? And I'm writing and writing. And then finally the meat of it came off. And it was, okay, it doesn't sound so hot, but whatever. It was, off with their heads. That's what I had. Off with their heads. And boy, I looked at that and I thought, man, that feels really good. And I kept writing. I was frustrated because the people that were working for me at that time had a different vision than me. They had a totally different vision of where I should be than me. That's when I very first started. And I was very naive. I thought everybody would follow what I wanted. But these were fighting against me like crazy. And so I was really frustrated because I knew it wasn't where I wanted to go, but I didn't know why. That brought it out. Well, I used that to open my mind. And now I use it, and by the way, as soon as I went home, they got fired. And so then, now I use it if I say, okay, how can I reach this market? Or how can I get this out? And then it just goes. First it's conscious, but then it just goes. And before I know, I am tapped in to something much bigger than me. These are the tools we use. But let me tell you, you are not using the tools for just your means. It's a co-creation. It's the will of both, mingled. It's not stomping your foot, this is what I want, and I'm going to use everything in my power to get it. That's not going to work. But if you're co-creating, then all of a sudden these all become useful to you. You just have to open up to them. That spirit writing that I call it is a fantastic way to start opening the mind. Taking a cup of tea and going out under the tree and then just letting yourself daydream. You know, how can I get into these businesses? What can I do with accounting? How am I different than every other accountant in the world? Remember how I told you, there's millions of choir conductors. Why did my choirs so succeed? Why did I in 1 year become one of the 3 top women conductors in the Northeast state of Indiana? Because I painted the picture. I got that out of just imagining what did I want? I wanted to bring visual to music by hearing it. Because when I listen to music, I always paint a picture in my head. So I tapped into that by asking myself questions and letting the universe answer me. So what do I bring to the table that other accountants couldn't? And just let it, some of it will be garbage, some of it won't. You just let it dream and you let it come. And when it hits you, you know it. But have faith and just do it. Same thing with you, with your story. Tap in. What kind of women do I want to help? How do I really want this to happen? And what do I want these women to really achieve? What do I want the awareness to be about? And let yourself just dream. You are only limited by your own thinking. So open it up to something bigger. And you, with your B&B, I know you call it some B&B. So when you're thinking about that, we just gave you investors. Now, that's a big thing. But think to yourself, okay, they're talking about investors. What could I really develop from this? Where are other places? If I can't do my own place, plan B is, what other areas can I start a B&B? And I don't even have to live there. And who do I know that's an investor? And let's just dream. Let's just see. What's this crowdfunding? Just let everything roam around up there and see what you come up with. Trust something bigger than you. Tap into it and trust. Okay? And I'll tell you, you won't go wrong. The ideas are all there. The innovators, the poets, the scientists, they're all people that have tapped in. That's what they've done. It's when we shut that off that we get to be the 92%. Really is. I've done it for everything. When I started my organic gardening solutions, I earned in 3 months $500,000 just doing organic gardening in a city that really didn't give a you-know-what for it. And how did I do that? I painted a picture for them. I sat down and I started thinking about, why would people want an organic gardening? Well, because it can be self-sustainable. They don't have, I even got a client up at Lake George, and I swear, Michael, his name was Michael. And I used to say, Michael, if I put in plastic flowers, you'd be the happiest thing in the whole wide world. Because he didn't want to do anything. Well, if you put in organics, you don't have any problem. You're self-sustainable. So I made that marketing. You do very little work and you get beauty all year round. That's what I told people. And I would put flowers in the right places. I would work very hard to get everything the way they wanted it, but with flowers and plants that were self-sustainable. I was doing houses all over Fort Wayne. And in 1 year, all you have to do is tap into something bigger. Paint a picture for your customers, for your people who are going to come to you, for the people who are going to be in your bed and breakfast. What do you want them to experience? And then let something answer. Okay? And then you can sing your song. And I do have a gift for you. I love this gift. It's finally here. All right, I'm going to have the ladies hand it out, because there are going to be times that you're going to get frustrated. There are going to be times that you feel like, You know, like when you have to go talk to your first CEO, or when you have to go for your job interview, or for when you start going to Toastmasters and have to do your first speech, or when you try to figure out, you know, if you have to talk to that lawyer and see if you can do your house as a B&B. So these look little, but we're going to do them. These are called becoming ropes, all right? Now, yes. And you see the little heart with the mantra? The mantra is, I surrender the how, I conquer the fear, I have faith in the future. That's the mantra. Now, stand up. I want you to try these. This is how you work with them. All right. I have women that keep these in their bags all the time. And whenever they have to do something, like a speech, like an interview, like a meeting the business, or talking to the lawyer for their house, all these things, all right? And what they do is they go into the women's room or whatever, and they put it down in a circle in front of them. So get where you can put a circle in front of you. And they're kind of small, so you know, I guess I have small feet, because I measured them with my feet. So Michael, you might have some problem. All right, now don't step in it yet. You stand on the outside. And you say to yourself, I surrender the how. Copy me. I surrender the how. I conquer the fear. I have faith in the future. Now, envision the person you want to be. Envision the person you want to be. And then when you're ready, you take a deep breath and you step into the rope and you become that person. How does it feel? Did you become? I have people put this at the end of their bed. Some people like to get up in the morning and just do it. I have other people who carry it in their purse, and when they have to go in for a meeting, they use it. I have other people who use it 2 or 3 times a day. I have some people who use it just once. It is your tool to use to help you feel more empowered, more like you're on your path even further. You're just increasing that law of gestation, of becoming. And I want you to use it, okay? It's a powerful little thing. It really is. How's it feel to become? It does feel powerful, doesn't it? Yeah, I love this thing. Well, it's yours, my dear. You are welcome. You are very welcome. Okay, we can get the girl off that's singing. I think I left her up there to celebrate enough. Oh, and there's the becoming ropes. All right, we already talked about the Break Free program. If you are interested in the Break Free program or the Quantum Break Free, please talk to Ann Rita, okay? I won't say any more about that. And then the only other thing I want to cover with this Break Free, and then I will let you go a little early, because I think we have covered a lot stuff, and I do have to let you process it. And I do expect to have calls later. But we talked about gratitude. We talked, let that go. I don't need it. We've talked about, I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. You've got, vision boards are fantastic. That's another way to keep you on your track. Really powerful. I'm telling you, do the study in the morning. Develop a self. It's really important for you to change the habits. So when you go home, even tonight, write down what you're going to do in the morning. How am I going to set my day up? Am I going to start with gratitudes? Am I going to start with study? Start with something like that. Find a time in the day for visualization, 2 times a day. I sound like a doctor. I do, don't I? Yeah, that's how I feel. Take 2 visualizations and call me. And then one time a day for meditation too. When you're riding in the car or walking or in your day, notice 3 things that you find miraculous. Whether it's the kindness of somebody in front of you. Don't take things for granted. Like when I'm going through Starbucks or something and somebody pays for my drink, I am so incredibly grateful for their thoughtfulness. See the miraculous in other people's eyes. Live in the now. Really. Everything you do, be totally present. Don't be off in la la land when you're talking to someone. Look in their eyes and see their soul. These are the miraculous things, okay? When you're riding in the car or something, you can do what I do. And I always say, are you there, Spirit? Are you there? And you can start to hear the voice. And I'll tell you, that is the most reassuring, beautiful thing in the whole wide world. Before you go into talking to someone, sit down, do your becoming rope, and then sit and say, okay, I work through me. Are you there? Work through me, create through me. Connect totally before you go in anywhere, okay? These are the silent gifts that are the most powerful. These will keep you from running in circles. These will keep you centered. Always respond instead of react, which you will. You're going to start seeing calmness happen in you. I once had a person that I was dating one time, and he looked at me, he said, how in the heck do you just always feel calm? I mean, I'm a very happy person and everything, but he senses that inner calm. He sensed that inner calm. Because I'm at peace. Because I know. And as James Allen says, calmness of mind is like a shady tree on a very hot desert day. Everybody gravitates towards it. Everybody wants to feel it. And out in this world right now, people really need it. There's too much reaction. Heck, the other day I was at the stoplight and it just turned green, and somebody honked. I thought, what in the heck? Calm down. Even when I'm late, I don't do that. You know, people are on edge. And you'll find you'll be sitting somewhere and you will be so calm, and people will come up to you because they just don't understand your calmness. But for you, it's a peace. And then for nighttime, establish that same kind of practice. I have a practice before I go to bed. You got to turn off. You're going to open up so much to the innovators and everything is so exciting. You got to shut those things off, and you got to have some rest. So at night, develop tools like I always take a nice hot bath or shower. I always do my gratitudes. I always listen to something, a meditative music or something. And then I do a meditation where I go up and I sleep in God's hand. I shut off my thoughts. I let myself rest. These are the things that are successful. And then once a week, I'm giving you the to-do list. One more thing. Once a week at least get out in nature. Renew. If you do these things, plus you get a mentor, and I'm not pushing a mentor because I'm trying to sell you something. Don't go there. I am pushing a mentor. I have always had a mentor. All my great successes was because I was with a mentor who saw more than I do. And it's really important. And the only time I went astray is when I listened to somebody on the outside, my dad, who didn't understand, and I honored that over myself and even what my mentor would say. Well, no, you're not. You're going to stay, you keep with the mentor. You trust the mentor. I know. Yes, I know. I know. But a mentor sees the things you do not see. And that's why you're there. And it's the inside stuff. Just like when I'm thinking what is going on, and I once had to do this event, and I was asked to do this event, and these women did not want me. They did not want me. I mean, I felt, you know that movie? You must think I watch like a ton of Disney and stuff. I do. Hocus Pocus. I felt like I was walking into Hocus Pocus. I am not kidding. They did not want me there. But somebody who was a good friend got me into it and said, this is your audience? No, these women. And everything was sabotaged. Like I was supposed to do a sing-along, and I was doing Salisbury Hill. I love Salisbury Hill. You know, Peter Gabriel? Oh, come on. Yeah, so I had it all. We were going to do a sing-along. They froze my stuff. And so everybody was, nobody could sing the verses, but man, we gave a really good refrain. and then when I was doing my presentation, they pulled the cameraman. It was hocus pocus. But you know what? I went to Bob, who was my mentor. And I said, Bob, you know, they've put me last. It's like an infomercial. You know, I get this very negative vibe. Do I have to do this? And he said, being last is perfect. He said, it's perspective. Now, I learned perspective. I know that. But yet I wasn't applying it. I needed somebody who was outside, who was smarter in some ways, in the ways of everything in this, to take a look and say, it's perspective. And then he says, and if they're all selling like crazy, you give. It turned out to be a darn good event. And the women who came to me said, I've never seen somebody give so much and care so much. Isn't that interesting? That's why you have a mentor, to see the things that you don't see. I would never go without a mentor now. Never. Ever. Okay? All right. Do you have any questions? Because for 2 days, you guys have gotten a lot. Now, I can reiterate, but I think you have these concepts. I do not want to keep you and just hammer it in your head. You got to experiment with it. Do you have any questions? No? Good. Then I hammered it enough, I think. All right. I did, I know. You do get that. Now, I do want you two to talk to Ann Rita, and I'd like you to talk to Ann Rita. And you are going to talk to me tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock. I'll meet you in the lobby. 10 o'clock, we'll go over to whatchamacallit and get a really cool organic breakfast. Sound good? Right. Okay, organic eggs. Organic waffles. Good stuff. Okay, fine. I'll get you an egg McMuffin. Yeah. Okay, we'll work really hard on that. Okay. All right. But anyway, Ann Rita, would you get yourself set up to talk to everybody? And you guys go ahead and talk to her. Get something set up. I want to start you right off the bat. And then you, my dear, you are a kick. I don't know. I know, you are a kick. Oh, we don't think you're, no, we love the Mississippi. It's funny. You guys have been an absolute pleasure, and I love having you here. And Netta, I'm so glad to meet you. And we're really going to get your business really making money this year. I know it's going to happen. I know it is. There's just no way that it can't. And you, my dear, it's a pleasure to really get to know you. And it's a pleasure.
Another thing I do, I tell people,
Yes, you may come up here. Oh, hey, you get yourself up here.
I always tell people, to feel other people, you give a real hug, not a fake hug.
That's
not,
right.
Not one of these.
Yeah.
A hug that you need.
Hug that you mean. Oh. Okay. Yep, I'm going to enjoy working with you very much. Very, very, very much. It's time.